least the colors are right on my overlay this time. We'll see if the sides are right. As we jump into this game, in the lower right-hand corner, we've got our Protoss coming out of the winner's bracket, losing the first best of 5 in the Grand Championship. His name is eNtitY.
And in the top left, we have the red Protoss, who in the winner's bracket originally lost to eNtitY, then fought his way back through the loser's bracket, defeating eNtitY, and then finding himself in this game now. It is PalaDiN. Apparently Derek is here too.
Hi, Derek.
Hi, Derek. Thanks for joining us. PalaDiN is happy you're here, as is eNtitY.
All right, we start off fresh, 0-0.
Indeed.
Sorry about our preemptive declaration of PalaDiN as the victor. We were unaware. We were aware he came out of the loser's bracket, but the production team screwed up. That's all I can say.
Oh, wait, we're the production team.
Shh. Unnecessary details. Gateways go down for both our players.
And now the probe dance commences.
Both probes headed towards the single center watchtower. Are you tired?
I was tired, and then I got a caffeine inject in me.
Need one of those.
I believe there are some to your right.
Oh, the probe's bump arms. Get out of my way, says Blue.
I want to go there
Red
first.
says, no, I'm in the first.
I'm going to go
and
up there.
Blue says, no, I'm going to follow you because I have the same exact move speed as you do, and there's nothing I can do about it.
But eNtity's like, screw it, I don't want to be up there anyway. And goes in a different direction.
It's getting late. Cybercore going down for PalaDiN along with a pylon in the back of his base. Same thing for eNtitY. We were just talking about these guys as we were having a slice of pizza together, taking a brief break before this game, talking about the variety of builds we've seen in all of them. Not one of the games we've seen so far have been any identical to the other, if that makes any grammatical sense at all.
It almost did.
Almost. PalaDiN's going to come on up into eNtity's base now. Looks like cannon rushes will not be a thing this game, maybe next game.
We can always hope. And eNtitY is chrono boosting out his warp gate, has plenty of chrono on that Nexus.
PalaDiN chrono boosting out a Stalker while warp gate just produces itself at the normal pace. 2 workers in each gas, typical thing for eNtitY. Same thing for PalaDiN. Second gateway is finishing for PalaDiN. See what he's going to end up making. Looks like 2 quick Stalkers. Probably try and put some pressure on with those. eNtitY moving a Stalker out to the ramp outside of his natural to stop any probes from coming in.
And we see a starport going down from eNtitY.
Alright, starport. 2-gate starport. Stargate.
Stargate, yes.
You're screwing me up now. More Stalkers coming out for eNtitY while that Stargate is being produced. Don't have a lot of scouting going on. Looks like eNtitY did a decent job scouting PalaDiN's base. PalaDiN has scouted the second gateway going down and the Cybercore, but certainly not the Stargate. Looks like a third gateway going down along with the Stargate. Probably going to produce an Oracle out of that. Stargate would be a safe assumption. Stalker tries to poke up of eNtitY, runs
Actually
into...
a Phoenix.
The first time I finally commit to Oracle.
And it's a Phoenix.
Love the way you say
eNtitY
that.
seeing the massive Stalkers at the top of the ramp, he's just going to turn around and regroup at the tower. And then keep going back home.
Out comes that Phoenix. Gonna go in and probably try and do some poking, maybe try and get the mothership core down. PalaDiN gets an early observer out of his robotics bay and follows it with an immortal.
Chrono boosting out that Phoenix. Second one to follow it up.
Where has he got that rallied? Right to the front. First Phoenix is actually already up there. Second Phoenix following that one. First Phoenix heading towards the third base right now, going into the base of PalaDiN. Stalkers are in the back. Looks like they are prepared for this. These two know each other's playbooks pretty darn well. That Phoenix is going to head on out and join up with his compadre.
PalaDiN's overseer, observer thing.
PalaDiN putting down a expansion, same with eNtitY. Both players feeling fairly comfortable at the moment.
PalaDiN's observer is heading into the natural, seeing the armory composition. Now we have an Oracle coming out of that starport from eNtitY. And those Phoenix are going to move into the natural, see if they can get any damage done. Do find a Zealot to pick off.
You can just imagine what that Zealot's saying as he's stuck with, "Oh, so sucks! Why didn't anybody help me, leaving me all alone out here?" He's going to come back in
Those
and
probes
pick
are
up a
just
couple
getting
probes.
destroyed, and look at those particle effects. Those are neat. The
A lot
advanced
of
physics.
neat new physics effects
Yes.
in Heart of the Swarm. So that observer is seeing that Oracle come out, so he's going to know that's on its way. Warping in 2 Stalkers mineral line, going to be completely safe. Maybe eNtitY was trying to head fake with Phoenix and let him not know that an Oracle was going to follow up, but he does have that observer. Oracle is still in his base, doing Revelation, or Envision. Sorry, no one's actually used Revelation. Using Envision to get that observer. Could be the reason he ended up making that Oracle. But PalaDiN's going to react anyway. He's going to put a cannon down in each of his bases. Twilight Council coming down for eNtitY. Not going to commit to that Stargate, at least just yet. But Void Ray is being produced, so we'll see how much he does make out of it, I suppose. +1 attack coming out of PalaDiN. One thing PalaDiN said during our break is that he had 3-2 upgrades that last game, and they all came out of one forge as the Phoenix come in to try and do some probe damage, but they are met by that cannon.
Mothership core coming back a little bit, getting ready to do that photon overcharge if necessary. Another Immortal being produced out of the robotics facility, and there is a Twilight Council going down for PalaDiN.
It almost looks like a little Oracle down here, this little energy fountain thing.
Oh, yeah. There's a Templar Archives coming out for eNtitY.
I gotta say that High Templar are definitely not my choice of unit in PvP unless he's just going straight for Zealot Archon, which could be very possible. PalaDiN is going for Blink, along with that upgrade, more Stalkers coming out.
I thought that when we saw PalaDiN do it against those Phoenix, that was a really clever attempt to counter those with the feedback.
Blink? Oh, feedback. Yeah, they have to build up so much energy, though. And if it only really comes into play if they're not active and not lifting things, which looks like he's going to come in and try and snipe these gas probes. Fairly easily done without losing anything. He micros the front Phoenix back so it doesn't take as much damage.
Hallucinated Phoenix from PalaDiN heading into
Looks like PalaDiN has had enough of that.
Is going to see the 3 gateways that were attempted to be hidden in the back.
Food differential in eNtity's favor at the moment, 96 to 88. That hallucinated Phoenix that is having some fun times in eNtity's base. Phoenix still managing to do a little bit of damage, focusing mostly on these gas probes. It does require a little bit of APM to be sure you put those probes back. I've been really trying to do Phoenix play more lately because I feel like it really is a good way to get practice with APM because you have to do a lot with macro and micro. As a warp prism comes out, head towards eNtity's base.
Those Phoenix are heading straight towards a path to run into it. Are they going to catch it? And they do.
Well, see you later, warp prism. A good thought, but didn't really pan out. Templar Archives now coming down for PalaDiN as well. Zealot Charge coming down for eNtity. He's going to be going Zealot Archon, it appears. Another Void Ray coming up for eNtity as well.
And another Stargate.
Looks like he's getting air upgrade +1, so he wants those Void Rays to be a little bit more beefy.
PalaDiN opting for the Psionic Storm.
Yeah. Just just don't think Storm is all that effective against Protoss. But that's just me.
Well, I guess we will see as this game continues to unfold.
Not my favorite play, that's for sure. But these guys are better than me, so I guess I should trust them, huh?
What's the thought?
Both people are just kind of sitting at home building up their armies. 126 food for eNtitY, 105 for PalaDiN.
Both are taking thirds?
These Phoenix have been quite useful as they've been largely used just for scouting, if nothing else. Looks like he could swing in here and pick up this High Templar. That would be a big loss.
He has killed 13 workers.
It's like he is going to grab that, and down goes that High Templar. He blinks in,
That
takes out the
Phoenix
Phoenix that
was the
lifting
first
it.
unit that eNtitY has lost this game.
Wow. Phoenix continuing to poke around, just scouting all the things. Third base coming up for both players. You can tell the level of exhaustion in the room is quite high as we both sit here and stare at our screens for a moment. Looks like eNtitY is going to be happy with his army composition and move out across the map. The Oracle leading the way to see what's out there. He's going to run right into PalaDiN's army if he continues on his current track. eNtitY does have the food lead, but the unit compositions are highly different, so we'll see what comes out of this. The number of zealots is just very large for eNtitY, but charge, if there are any storms, will allow the zealots to...
Yeah, there are 6 High Templar there with a lot of energy.
Are running away. Didn't really have a scout in there to see what was there. But
Those Phoenix did a little bit of a flyby to see what was up there.
He's waiting to put a pylon down here and also down here. So he is pulling back to his third base. Looks like we're going to have a nice passive game here as PalaDiN is caught up in the food. Now 157 to 158.
PalaDiN going to take a fourth.
Figures why not, right? Probe coming out, Nexus and Pylon right next to each other.
And eNtitY does see that base, but PalaDiN does not see the proxy pylon, or the forward pylon there.
So I think that's looks like based on the army track, that's going to push eNtitY to push up on this ramp to the natural and then warp in some units on the right, but PalaDiN does see that pylon as he goes to put down his assimilators. Also, the observer of PalaDiN sees the eNtitY army moving up the middle.
Realizes it and checks back. And his army is moving forward.
PalaDiN
almost sniping that Oracle.
Hey, I just said that no one has used Revelation today, and now we have seen it.
There it is.
PalaDiN also warped in a few units to take care of that pylon on the right side, walking a bunch of probes, catch another pylon, big engagement, lots of force fields. Storm's doing a little bit of damage to the Zealots, not a whole lot.
Phoenix getting feedback. Storm's doing big damage.
Storm's doing huge damage to the Void Rays. I take that back. Oh my gosh, the Storm's killing the Void Rays almost
Aaron's
entirely.
PvP conception has completely been changed.
I didn't think about it versus the Void Rays. PalaDiN's army comes out on top in a huge way. He's going to be able to chase these Zealots down by just blinking up on them over and over again. It's like the Zealots turn around to do a little bit of damage.
But they are microed to death.
That's going to put eNtitY in a little bit of a tough spot as he rallies a Void Ray over. Looks like a misrally as he flies right up by the observer of PalaDiN. PalaDiN's going to know that. Question is he going to send any units up to take that out? eNtitY says, oh no, we're going to get this out of here.
Yep.
And starts heading home. I've never done that before.
Never. Aaron and I have never played a 2 where he's rallied a Colossus where he had put an observer previously,
and
which is usually right in their base.
Free Void Way for PalaDiN. Third bases, both handily up for both people. Actually, PalaDiN has the fourth that he's now mining out of, making more Archons. 152 to 110, PalaDiN sneaking ahead. Still warping in the Stalkers. Upgrades looking like 1 to 2 armor and attack for PalaDiN. And for eNtitY, we've got 1-1. So PalaDiN has a slight upgrade lead. eNtitY going for Protoss air weapons level 2, as well as ground weapons level 2.
Also putting a forward pylon just above the lip of the area next to the 4th base of PalaDiN.
He hasn't really been using his proxy pylons for a whole lot of aggressiveness, but I think he's just putting there so that if he gets into a confrontation somewhere over here, that he can then do some more pins. Another pylon going.
He can reinforce if he needs to, and he is making some zealots over there, going to try and do some harassment. Little does he know that the entire army of PalaDiN is right there. Those are just going to get obliterated. They turn around to try and run out. 2 of them look like they're going to get away, but then they stop and get eaten.
PalaDiN puts down a 5th base, while eNtitY is still on 4.
Just taking his 4th.
That's right, just taking 4th. I'm not going to let you know exactly what that looks like.
Mickey Mouse.
It does.
Yes.
Army continuing to grow. PalaDiN's getting close to 200, while eNtitY is slowly behind at 126. There is a red spot right here. Observer looking in. He's going to go down and scout and likely get killed by those cannons if he doesn't micro that well. And away goes that observer. Looks like PalaDiN is chrono boosting those Stargates like crazy. Looks like he's going to come out with lots of Void Rays. Chrono boosting that air attack as well as his ground attack. More observers as well. Fleet Beacon coming out also. So the question is he going to go Tempest? I kind of have a feeling he's going to. We were just talking about that last game, how we kind of felt like the Tempest of eNtitY lost him that one game, but it's also because he didn't have any upgrades. But it looks like PalaDiN is really pushing for the air upgrades, also getting the shield upgrade for that Zealot Archon mixture.
And if PalaDiN chooses to move in at this point, the food differential is pretty staggering in terms of army supply. 27 Stalkers, 4 Void Rays. There are 9 Void Rays for eNtitY, and they do have 2 ups.
PalaDiN moving in with a few Stalkers just to do some poking with Blink. Photon Overcharge is going to go down. Likely he's going to blink out or lose all of those Stalkers. It could be also that he's just trying to trade food.
Deciding he doesn't want those Stalkers anymore.
+3, +2 coming down for eNtitY. Air upgrades, +2 for PalaDiN. PalaDiN continuing to push out Void Rays at a faster rate than eNtitY. eNtitY
resupplying with Archons.
Making Immortals. 2 out of 2 robotics facilities continuing to make Immortals. He is now coming down with a robotics bay. So eNtitY's going to have 2 ground upgrades, 3 air upgrades. He's going to have a well upgraded army once he catches up to the food of PalaDiN, which is at 200. So now it looks like both teams are merging together to the center for a grand battle here. See who comes out on top. Archon's leading for eNtitY. Maybe not the best spot for them to have those Zealots out front. PalaDiN pushes back, looking to see how long they can make this game.
eNtitY takes down his takes a 5th base. And PalaDiN's approaching 200. He has hit 200, so we'll see how he's feeling about his army composition.
PalaDiN's also sitting on a bank of almost 3k minerals and 1k gas, so even if he goes in here, he's going to be able to resupply very quickly, and also I'm surprised he's not putting down another base. A couple warped in Zealots coming from eNtitY on the right side towards PalaDiN's expansion, but there's plenty of cannons there to squash them. Looks like PalaDiN is going to be sacking some probes to eNtitY to free up some food.
We see some 3 Colossus coming out for eNtitY as he himself approaches 200. And those probes are getting cleaned up.
That was the intention, surely, as PalaDiN warps in 4 more High Templar to round out his competition with 2 more Archons.
And 6 more probes crossing the map.
+3, +2 shields about to finish. You know, it looks like I just said more probes going across the map. Some more food, more High Templar likely to be warped in. Warp Prism coming out from eNtitY. eNtitY wants to force the issue now as PalaDiN has several upgrades that are about to finish. There's +2 shields and looks like
and there's
+3 air attack.
Oh, Storm's hitting the giant ball. Void Rays getting picked apart.
The Voiders of PalaDiN are standing tall against those Colossus and Immortals that can't attack them at all whatsoever.
And the food.
As we see that Warp Prism zoom by. More Zealots are warped in for eNtitY. eNtitY hoping to do a little bit of damage to that ground army, but it just seems to be a bit overwhelming for him.
He's getting rather close to those Void Rays with that Warp Prism, but they instead go forward to the front, and the Warp Prism continues on, but I don't know how much damage he's going to be able to do with that Warp Prism, unless he can manage to pull this army back. But nope, he just GG's, and we'll be going on to the game 2.
+1 for PalaDiN. A good long macro game. We've seen plenty of those. We have not seen a whole lot of quick games out of either one of these guys. So they are looking to be in it for the long haul.
That's right. It seems like they prefer to play the long game, the macro game, getting the Protoss death ball of various constitutions and configurations.
Considering pulling out an energy drink, but my body is saying no. Don't do it.
Those High Templar proved to be incredibly important in that last game.
Yeah, they really took out that big wad of Voiders extremely
They've
fast.
done a lot of damage. We've seen PalaDiN throughout this whole tournament doing huge damage with High Templar. Just destroying hundreds of supply worth of units, resupplying into anything that he wants, making Archons, just...
Well, it was interesting too. PalaDiN had, obviously PalaDiN ended up winning, so it didn't make a difference, but PalaDiN had such a few food late at one point. I'm not sure that pushing would have made a huge difference, but he sat at 200 for quite a while, allowing eNtitY to really catch